going to talk about the kinds of thoughts you have to avoid if you don't want to think and grow broke. Because, secret, he said, thoughts are things, and incredibly powerful things, and a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. And see, what we have to understand is we have to understand that we have to become hyper intentional about our work, about our thoughts. If we're going to become hyper intentional about our thoughts, we automatically have to be hyper intentional about our words. Because the reality is, you can speak without thinking, but you can't think without using words. Most people take their past experiences, they project it on the screen of their future, they recreate the past and think they're living in the present. But what they're really doing is living Groundhog Day. Most people are living their yesterday today. They're living their last week this week. They're living their last month this month. They're living their last year this year. They're living their last decade this decade. And their life isn't getting better, which goes against the very first thing that God ever said to a human being when he spoke to man. He said, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. Well, when he said be fruitful, a fruit is a living organism whose seed is in itself. The ability of a fruit to reproduce is inside the fruit. So when God said to man, be fruitful, he wasn't just talking about having children. He was talking about, I put an aspect of my creativity inside of you. Now, what's really interesting is he put a different aspect of his creativity inside of all of us. Like, some of y'all can sing better than me. Probably not many of you, but some, no, I'm just kidding. Some of y'all can sing better than me. Some of y'all can write better than me. Some of you can, like, dunk a basketball better than me. Well, if you can dunk a basketball, you can automatically dunk it better than me. Okay, so what's my point? But there's things I can do better than you. Why? Because God didn't put every aspect of his creativity inside of anybody, but he put an aspect of his creativity inside of everybody. And so that creativity, that aspect of his creativity that he put inside of us, it is our job to produce on the outside based on what God put on the inside. But he said, be fruitful. Now, the other interesting thing about a fruit is this: because it has a seed in it, when you sow the seed, you don't reap a piece of fruit. You reap a tree. And the tree might produce 100, 200, 300 apples a year, oranges, whatever your kind of seed you plant. Once it's mature, it might produce 100 to 300 pieces of fruit per year. And I love what Warren Wiersbe said. He said, any fool can count the number of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apples in a seed. And so what we have to do is we have to make sure that we cultivate the seed of creativity that God put inside of us so we can be fruitful. And we can be fruitful and multiply because you reap what you sow, but you don't reap when you sow. You reap later than you sow. You reap what you sow, but you don't reap the amount you sowed. You reap more than you sowed. And so while you reap what you sow, you don't reap when you sow, and you don't reap what you sowed. You reap more than you sowed, later than you sowed. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. And so God said, be fruitful and multiply. Why? Because multiplication is the natural output of the input of fruitfulness. So when God said, be fruitful and multiply, multiplication is the natural output of the input of fruitfulness. Like a seed that you plant in the ground does not have the ability to only produce one fruit. Nothing in nature grows by addition. In nature, everything grows by multiplication, which means when God said be fruitful and multiply, the word multiply means to increase. But it's not just an incremental increase, it's an exponential increase. It's a geometric increase. See, there are people in the world who want to act like human beings are destroying the planet. But human beings aren't here for the planet's here for the human beings. And that doesn't mean we should pollute. I'm not saying we should take care of our environment. God said clearly, pollute not the land in which ye dwell. But the environment isn't God. The earth is not my mother. It is here to serve me. I am not here to serve it. And these people who want to depopulate the earth so the earth lasts longer, the earth is here for us. It's not the other way around. Anyway, I digressed a little, but it was a good digression. When he said, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, the word replenish means to fill up. Don't make the mistake of thinking that when a beaver uses its limited creativity to build a dam in a creek in the forest, that's organic. When an ant uses its limited creativity to build an anthill in the ground, that's organic. When an eagle uses its limited creativity to build a nest in a tree, that's organic. But when a human being uses its unlimited creativity to build a city, that's somehow inorganic. A city is as organic as an anthill, a beaver dam, or an eagle's nest. So when God said be fruitful and multiply, what he's telling us to do, he's telling us to increase and fill up the earth. Replenish means to fill up the earth with the multiplication of the things that we create. That's our job. So when God said be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, and they said subdue it, what does subdue mean? Trample down, stomp it. What does that mean? That means trample down anything that tries to stop you. And if he's telling me to trample it, that means whatever opposes me is both beneath me and smaller than me. So if he told me to trample it, that means I have the ability to trample it. It's already under my feet. Now all I have to do is take the action to step on all of the stoppers. Well, so we have to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. What is God saying? God is saying that a human being's life is supposed to be progressively productive. What does that tell us? We shouldn't be living Groundhog Day. Today should be better than yesterday. This week should be better than last week. This month should be better than last month. This year should be better than last year. And I'm not just talking about better financially, but I'm including better financially. This whole idea that as you get older, you have to get sicker and weaker and broker is hideous. But if you believe that, then that's exactly how you're going to set up your life. I know people my age who talk like they're 100. Guess what? They also walk like they're 100. They move like they're 100. Right? They act like they're on death's doorstep. I know people younger than me act like they're on death's doorstep. I'm only 62. I'm just getting started. Let's get this party started. Let's go. So stop thinking from the past. The past is nothing more than your launch pad for your future. Treat it like that. But people who live in the past and they just dwell on the past, yeah, but this happened to me and that happened to me. A bunch of stuff happened to all of us. We have to make sure we don't allow our past to imprison our future in a life of lack and limitation. Well, thinking from the past instead of the future, that's one. Thinking that you're smaller than your challenges. What does that mean? You will never face anything that's bigger than you if you are operating based on kingdom principles. Nothing's bigger than you. You'll face challenges, but the challenges aren't bigger than you. Somebody say, well, you don't understand, Myron, you're going to die one of these days. That's not a challenge bigger than me. I've already received Christ. So when I die, I just begin to live. Jesus said, whosoever believeth in me shall never die, and whosoever liveth and believeth whosoever liveth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live, and whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. And then he said this, believest thou this? So I even win when I die. Well, here's the problem with a lot of Christians, though. They think they start winning when they die. I wake up winning every day. Every step I take is a step in the direction of victory. But Myron, how can you say that? Because we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. That doesn't mean I'm going to win. I am already winning. I'm already more than winning. I expect things to work out in my favor. Why? Because I'm me. And I understand who me is in him. So stop thinking that you're smaller than your challenges. You're not smaller than your financial challenges. You're not smaller than your health challenges. I get it. You can't fix every problem that you have. There are some people who get diseases, who contract diseases, and they die from them. And I don't want to minimize that because it's real, but you ain't dead till you die.